Welcome to Project Pack number 18. This is day 2. My name is Rick,
Hi, I'm Maria.
and today we are going to continue with this wonderful new surface of see-through tangles
How
almost,
exciting! Work on a new project and a new canvas. For me,
right?
it's a canvas. Yeah.
And I'm going to use 2 of the charcoals, and I'm going to
Use pretty much all of the
pretty
tools.
much
Yeah.
all of the tools. And in this case, I'm starting out doing Hollen Ball with the number 10 micron. And I'm just going right off the edge on this.
I love this number 10.
Right?
Especially on these tiles. It's such a bold move and a little bit different, challenging us a little bit
Right.
more. Yeah.
And when I draw the hollow bar, I actually draw behind, so I'm not like guessing where it would come out the other side. And if by chance you're seeing this video first, we have a introductory video that talks all about these new tools and surfaces. So I encourage you to look at that. And when I started, I thought, oh, I'm going to just start and do some exploration. And then I thought, oh, I'm going to, oops, I went over the line there a bit. I'm going to try it out. But then I decided, I'm just going to do it and see where it goes. So this is the first time here on this one.
You switched pens here to an 01.
Right. So I'm using the 01, and this is like a new twist, if you will, pardon the pun, on Hollen Ball. So we're taking the other pen, and I'm going to do 2 lines right next to each other. So I'm auraing that second line, or the first line, and I'm just going to go right over one of the lines, but still drawing in a Hollen Ball fashion behind the other elements. And we'll see what happens. Now, you know that time where I went over that line like a little bit,
Right there.
oops, right there? Well, instead of starting over, it was like, okay, well, what can I do with this? So I decided to use this idea of a closely auraed line, and I just incorporated that. And now I'm going to go back in and I'm just going to duplicate it. So I think I'm going to go back and get the 10.
Oh, that you have to be careful with that then.
Right? And I'm just going to touch it, and that little overstep becomes an element of this cool little border, or part of that Hollen Ball element.
I love when you can add a little bit of detail that unexpected. Like, why did he do that?
Right.
Well, there was a reason. He did that because it covered a blooper. Yeah.
Right? So you're taking this as a real exercise in, okay, I'm going to use this era, so-called, right? And see what I can make of it creatively. So again, I'm doing this, what I'm calling a new Hollen Ball twist.
You like chubby checker?
Right.
Got it. It tells us how old we are, right?
And you'll see how this works later. So you can just one stroke at a time this with us. And yours is going to look different from ours. And that's the whole point. So I'm going back with the 2 different chalks that I have, the chalk pencils. And I'm going to have the idea that, okay, one side of this, let's imagine it's a twisty ribbon, is this orange color. So I'm going to lay down some good amount of chalk there. And then when it twists over and on itself, you discover that, the other side is this blue color. So I'm filling this in, just laying down the chalk, because I know I'm going to come back with the tortillon to smooth it in.
The chalk pencil does really well on this paper. I like the difference of you can go from almost nothing to color. It's beautiful.
And where they crossed, I tried to, or I deliberately made it a different color so you've got a little bit of contrast there. And now you'll start to understand why you have so many tortillones in this particular project pack, because I'm going to dedicate one tortillon, at least for a while, to this color, and another tortillon to the blue. And I'm just moving it around, and it just smooths in really, really nice.
So if this was me doing this,
What?
I'd use the same tortilla for all of them and make the colors, marbly.
Yeah.
So that's our difference. I love that you guys get to hear different stories from us as opposed to us doing exactly the same
Right.
thing.
And then taking that same idea and realizing that, okay, well, maybe you'll do it a different way.
That's what creativity is. And you
Right?
just, find what ways resonate with you and go in those directions.
So just putting a couple little strokes in there,
A little twisty
little
magic, yeah.
little twisty ties.
Again, you're working with the 01 so that you can do a detail like that.
Just take your time. And the chalk sort of went over the other line, so I'm just re-emphasizing that just to bring its sparkle back. All right. So now I'm going to take one of these boards and do Shattuck. So there's many ways to do Shattuck, and Maria and I were looking at this before we started, and it's like I do Shattuck not at all like she does it, or vice versa. And I really get into the, straight line geometry of this here. And
Rick has a
sometimes
built-in ruler. He can't help it. It doesn't work. And I don't even.
right.
I can't even draw a straight line with a ruler.
And unlike, some people will do each Shattuck section and then start the other one. Sometimes I like to just lay out the whole thing as I did in this case. And now I'm just going to go back, get in the zone, and put down these orid lines and fill it in. So I orid the first one of that, diagonal triangle. And then we'll just do that in fill out till you get to the end of one of the triangles. Just enjoy every stroke. No need to rush. And then rotate my tile so that each alternating triangle there, those orid lines are going at, opposite directions.
So you want to take advantage of a little bit of shakiness, just so that people realize that this is done by hand and not by a machine.
Right. And so the imprecision of the line, or sometimes where the ink may, interact differently with the surface, that becomes part of the pattern. And as long as you rotate your tile and are using the same muscle groups for the most part, it becomes, well, that's just the texture of this piece. So I'm just getting my orientation because I don't have that other major triangle to go by, but I know that this, which way they're going to look, so I'll just start from the other corner.
When you're in a position like that, just stop and think for a few minutes what direction you want to go in, what makes sense.
Okay, so I'm going to now use this same theme of these two colors, like, well, how could I use this? And so I'm echoing that idea of those hollow bar ribbons perhaps, and I'm going to alternate the colors. And using that as a shading, you'll see like I put the bulk of the chalk up against where you might imagine that going under the other piece. So perhaps this is a type of ribbon that's folded back and forth and back and forth, and each time you see the other side of it, each one having its own color. And then just very, very easily in circular motions, just pulling that out so it gets lighter as it goes. And I'm just going back and forth doing each one.
Has a nice look, huh? Stained glassy.
Mm. And eventually all your tortillones will be the same. There'll be sort of some wonderful color that's that you can take advantage of.
They will all be brown.
Right. All right. So this is really pretty straight, but I want to take advantage of this
How pretty it
see-through,
looks
right?
on the other side. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm going to go to Molly's Indirella.
You're using one of the jelly rolls.
Right. So I'm picking up a jelly roll.
And this jelly roll is a little bit different than the others that we use, right? And there is
Yeah, so this is a really cool one, and it does magic tricks, and you'll see it here. And this particular tangle is really unique in a couple ways. First of all, it's just a dot and a bunch of curves, and none of the lines in this tangle touch or cross. And perhaps you can see from this close-up of how wet this ink goes down. So you want to give this a lot of time to dry, and don't put your hand on it. I mean, you could if you want, but it'll have a whole different look. And
I don't know what to say to that one. Good if you want.
And you'll notice that the gap between those curves, those orid curves, I am keeping about the same as the gap between those little groups of curves. Maybe they're like little goldfish or something. But whatever they are, you're getting to see the uninked space will start to form its own pattern.
It's a school.
It is a school. It's all a school, dear. And I thought this was a neat little, contrast to have this very non-straight, curvy on one side to compare with the very, very precise, ruled presentation on the other side.
So you have complementary shapes, and you also have complementary colors. So the orange and the blue, I believe, are complementary colors.
Now, check out how the ink of those earlier little, let's call them fish or shapes, is starting to turn silvery. So the ink has this metallic component that is separating out, and as it dries, the silver is going to be dominant with just a little bit of haloing of the blue. But on the other side, it's the blue that you see.
Cool, right?
So it's actually, this paper brings out something in the pen that an opaque paper you'd never see. So it's blue or it's silver.
Neat.
So now let's put on the chop. I'm going to do a little bit of a different chop because I can take advantage of the see-through here. And just to let you know, I probably let that side dry for...
Oh, you did it differently.
Right? Because right? It takes advantage of the look-through.
Right, but don't your things usually
Yeah.
go the other direction? Yeah.
So there you go. And oh, right, I forgot to shade it. So I got my steps a little bit mixed up. So I'm going to go back in and put a little graphite to really bring out the separation of those over and under.
No cookies for you.
Always using the point of my pencil or tortillon, to the side that I want to be right up to the edge there. And smooth that in.
Is that an orange tortilla you're using?
Not for long.
I think it is. I can see orange. But
So,
again, I love the richness of the
right?
colors that it creates.
So thank you so much for playing along. We've got a lot more videos and a lot more wonderful explorations to share with you. So please remember to put all of your whatever you do up on the mosaic so we can see it. And we'll see you in a couple days.
See you later.
Bye now.
Bye.